humor of the pop culture has a very strong magnetism. The access to their intuitive wisdom is seldom found once the child creates their social persona or protective mask that they wear, which gives them a corridor to retreat from the responsibility of higher awareness and purposeful energetic contribution. There are some children and young adults that break this conditioning of the social and cultural order, but not in high numbers or ratios. It's done by the few who have strong blueprints, missions, and inner guidance to access this intuitive wisdom and utilize it for the grand awakening. Now, more to your point, the future is bright because the intelligence of the human race is being intensified in the coming years like never before. This awakening or access to the higher order intuitive knowledge is precisely what many of the children of today are here to reveal. With this access comes new inventions, innovative solutions, new ways in which humanity will solve the problems of energy, poverty, its governments, disease, and resource distribution. It's not to say that these problems will be overcome in a matter of a few years, or when 2012 rolls around, all will be well with the world. No, it will not happen that way. It will happen more gradually. But the critical mass, the re-engineering of the human grids upon which we depend for our inner connections to spirit, these will be brought to a new level of creativity and cooperation, whereby the human and divine agendas come into a more, let's say, a new and a higher harmony. And in this harmony, positive change will take hold.
Mm-hmm. What about all the prophesied disasters like nuclear wars or earth changes like floods and earthquakes and pole shifts, to name a few? Do these still loom in our future before the good times can roll, so to speak?
There will continue to be calamities of various kinds. That's all part of the rhythm of nature and man. But it's not the events of the past that define our species or the direction in which we advance, so much as it's the purpose and intention we carry within our hearts and minds. So yes, there'll be wars and natural disasters that'll trail in the wake of humanity, and yes, it's only natural to presume that the best indicator of our future is our past, but that's not really the case. Prophecy often neglects the finer energies of the human heart and mind, and instead is informed by the mistakes and disastrous judgments that we see materialized in our history books. There's a primal coherence that makes possible the gradual appearance of the bridge between Creator and creation. As this bridge materializes in the coming years, it will widen so more and more people can cross it and feel the vibrational influences of their Creator moment by moment, whenever they choose to touch in. It's like the lifting of a fog that separates one identity from another, and despite all the evidence to the contrary, the future of humankind is as bright as a star and even more enduring.
I think that was more positive than I expected.
Yes, well, I'm well aware that prophecy is a bit gloomy relative to humanity and Earth, but as I said, within the hearts and minds of ordinary people is the vision of what is to be. Even if we can't articulate it or grasp it with our minds, we nonetheless emit this vision and purpose, and it goes out as a powerful imprint, forming the future of humanity, like a great sculptor who wields galaxies like a hammer and chisel. The deepest motives of the human heart are not found in words, but rather behaviors and energetic or etheric transmissions to share love and light to all creatures. These are the muscles and limbs of the great sculptor or collective being. And the reason that this is so is because we are children of our Creator, whose vision and purpose is stored within each of us, expressing itself even when we seem far far from spiritual, godly living. We cannot turn this off any more than our sun can choose not to shine. Food shortages will be an issue. Disease will be an issue. Wars will be an issue. And these are all elements that will pull humanity into a new grid or a new perspective relative to its values and behaviors. But the deepest motives, even when they're forgotten or ignored, remain as the collective signature of humanity. And these will be crystallized in our new institutions, our new technologies, our new leaders, and the new objectives of a united Earth. This is our destiny. It's not a whim of a few teachers or even angelic hosts. It's the innermost, pure, ancient voice of our hearts and minds in a chorus of love, where your identity is a cell in an evolving, ascending planetary organism. This organism lives and moves in the currents of love that fill the universe's light and sound frequencies, from the highest to the lowest order.
Yeah, I think some of that may have gone over my head, but the great thing about audio is you can rewind it and listen a few more times, right?
Again, don't concern yourself with understanding everything you hear. Sometimes it's more valuable to not understand, but just feel the energy of what is said. This energy is more important, as it's often more activating than words and thoughts.
Okay, I'll do my best, but let's switch topics for a moment. I realize the heart has always been a factor in the Wingmakers materials. It just seems like it's taken more of a center stage in the event temple site. Can you explain the reason for that, James?
Yes, it's true that the event temples is more focused on the heart center, but then the heart and mind are the key elements of the human instrument. And in the Wingmakers materials, the mind was addressed more fully, and in the event temples, I suppose the focus was more squarely on the heart as a means to provide balance. But even in the poetry and art and music of the Wingmakers materials, there is abundant reference to the heart and its central role in human activation and accessing the higher self. You see, the heart and mind are like two sides of the same coin. And by the way, when I say heart, I really mean the human emotional and intuitive system. And when I say mind, I really mean the consciousness of the sovereign individual, which includes the physical brain, nervous system, and associative mind consciousness. So with those definitions out of the way, the heart is the portal of the human instrument that enables it to feel the currents of love that flow in and around every individual at all times. It's back to that antenna and transmitter I spoke about in our first session. It's really a sensory system that enables that feeling of connection to others and our mutual creator. The mind, however, is a powerful perceiver in many ways, though it kind of gets entangled with the ego personality and the social conditioning of the small story in which culture lives. So its power can be vastly diminished. The ideal is to have both the heart and mind operating in harmony as both receptors and